Welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it, and we are checking out the brand new Gibson Mary Ford Les Paul Standard. This is based on a one-off custom order by Mary Ford in 1958, in which she got a Goldtop Les Paul with the pickguard in the style of an ES-295. Lots of numbers thrown around, but don't worry, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about this guitar. We're gonna put it on the bench and pull it apart, talk full specs before we plug it in and play it. At the top, if you're in the market for this guitar, you can get 18 months payment plans on Gibson right now using our link, and you also get 2 bonus Maestro pedals from Gibson right now for a limited time. If you're shopping Gibson or shopping any other gear, click to buy gear using our link. You'll find that in the comments or down in the description. And we are giving away a seriously awesome Les Paul Standard 60s to one of you when we hit 100,000 subscribers. To win that guitar, hit subscribe right now if you haven't, turn on notifications, and sign up via Gleam. All that's down below. All right, without further ado, let's take a first look at the Mary Ford Les Paul on a beautiful gold top. All right, check that out. How cool is that with that armrest up here, similar to the style of an ES-295, which was a hollow body guitar made by Gibson, and they pulled that stylings into this design at the custom order request of Mary Ford back in 1958. And I know what many of you are thinking, isn't that just a gold top Les Paul Standard at a new price of $29.99? In some ways, that's true. You're getting the armrest, but there's a few important differences here. Stick with me to the end. I'll give you my honest reaction to playing this guitar after we get through the performance demos, but I'll tell you at the top what makes this special. So rather than just read through the spec sheet, I'll tell you why this is important. This is the first time that you're gonna be able to get a Les Paul Standard 60s with that slimmer 60s style neck with a gold top. Before, you could only get the gold top with either humbuckers or P90s with a 50 fatter style neck. So this is gonna represent the opportunity to get a 60s slim neck with a gold top in a Les Paul Standard. One noticeable other difference is this is not gonna sport these 61 Burstbuckers like you'd find in the regular Les Paul Standard. It's gonna feature a set of Burstbucker 2 and 3 pickups, so we'll cover all that when we get to the bench. So headline there, all that to say, this is a gold top Les Paul Standard with the addition of these armrest and pickguard with the nice design, and importantly, that slimmer 60s style neck, Burstbucker 2 and 3 pickups. All right, let's hit the bench and pull this apart. All right, starting up at the top of the headstock, beautiful mother of pearl Gibson open book headstock Les Paul model screened in gold. Flipping that over, you have the Gibson Deluxe Kluson style vintage tuners. I love the looks of those. And that's kind of blending element. This guitar, I guess I'll tell you this, it's blending elements of a Les Paul Standard 50s and 60s in terms of some of the cosmetic choices, the finish option, of course. Like this you would find on a Les Paul Standard 50s, but here you have the more vintage style with a 60s style neck, so I can definitely feel that it is a slimmer neck here. Beautiful cherry mahogany on the back with that gold top. It looks like something out of the custom shop when you see that nice cherry mahogany with that gold top. I really like that. You have the single bound rosewood fretboard, acrylic trapezoid inlays. Coming down, you got Burstbucker 2 and 3 humbuckers here. And let's take a look at this armrest. It is screwed into the body. So if you want that, leave it. If you take it off, fine, but just be aware that it does have 2 screws into the body, so you will have 2 very visible screw holes here at the top of the body of the Les Paul. I have a feeling that the pickguard and the armrest in general is going to be kind of a love it or hate it thing. I think it looks really sharp on the gold top. I love the stylings, but it is a little bit, you know, think ahead, because just keep in mind you will have 2 screw holes in the body if you take it off. But other than that, look at that beautiful gold top finish, full gloss, nitro finish on this guitar, made in Nashville, USA. Just a gorgeous looking guitar. Let's get the strings out of the way and get some measurements. This nut comes in at a wider 1.71 inches, up to a first fret of a slim 0.81 inches, 12th fret 0.9 inches, 60s slimmer neck. Body thickness 1.98 inches. All right, we got something with screws, so something else to take off and take a look at. We'll take a look at this armrest here. You can see it's got these 2 little felt pads. It's adjustable in terms of where these felt pads sit in this bracket. You can pull this further or towards the body using these brackets. But the way it sits, you just have these 2 screws that you can see. I mean, so if you take it off, that's what you'll have. but it looks great on there, so leave it alone. Now, one other thing about that, of course, is if you like that really nicely worn looking gold top that gets that beautiful wear over time as the nitro ages from your arm happening, well, you got an armrest that's going to protect that nitro, so it's not going to age that way, is it? Standard controls, let's go ahead and flip over these humbuckers and take a look under the hood. Got a Burstbucker 3 in bridge position, PAF style humbucker. And we have a Burstbucker 2 in neck position, short tenon on this guitar. You can also see the thickness of the maple cap here from this angle. All right, let's flip on this multimeter and get a reading on the Burstbucker 3 and 2. Burstbucker 3, 8.2 in bridge, 8.0 in that Burstbucker 2 in neck. Better not be a circuit board here. Let's go ahead and pull up this control cavity cover here and take a look. All hand wired, looks beautiful under the hood here. See those orange drop capacitors? That looks nice. That's what I want to see when I open up the panel on a Les Paul Standard. All right, let's get a weight. 9 pounds, 13 ounces. That's a big one for sure. We'll call it 9 pounds, 14 ounces. We'll call it 9.9 pounds. And flipping around, yeah, definitely on the heavier side for this one, but noticeably slim neck. And again, why that's a big deal, you're getting a gold top, which is typically attributed to the 50s Les Paul standards, but you got this 60s slim neck with a beautiful gold top, all the appointments here. I like what they've done here cosmetically. It rings really nice. Sounds like a good Les Paul should. I'm excited to plug it in. I'll remind you, if you're in the market for this guitar or any gear, click to buy gear using our link. You'll find that down below. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, because we are giving away a Les Paul Standard 60s when we hit 100,000 subscribers. Hit subscribe and sign up. All right, let's get to work on playing this guitar. That's the best part, right? I'll show you clean tones, I'll dirty it up, and then let it sing behind a track. On the other side, I'll give you my honest, raw reaction to playing this guitar, along with a final score. So stay tuned, drop a comment, let's get to work. See you on the other side. right, you stuck with me to the end. What did you think of the Mary Ford Les Paul Standard? I'll tell you what I think. Since you stuck with me to the end, I based my final score on 3 main categories: overall playability, overall sound, and overall value. First, I'll remind you, if you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, click to buy new gear using our link. You get 18 months payment plans right now. It makes it really easy to buy a new Gibson. And there's some great other perks, so check that out. Tow-in is available for those of you in Europe as well. All right, let's talk about this guitar. Starting with playability. The standout feature here with a Goldtop Les Paul Standard is it's traditionally going to be a 50s style neck. This has the thinner, slimmer 60s style neck. So it's going to be a lot more agile in terms of if you're someone who's looking for a slim neck. Beyond that, the playability of this full gloss nitro finish, it didn't get in my way. It is a tad on the heavier side at just under 10 pounds, but I'll tell you what, it's just a really no-nonsense, vintage-inspired Les Paul Standard with a beautiful gold top, and I do like the cosmetic appointments here. But from a playability standpoint, it did have a little bit of a wider, sharper feel is the way I would describe it. So the nut did read a little bit wider, and it has, if you grab the neck, it almost has this kind of wide, sharp feel as you go up the neck. Nothing really bothered me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Les Paul I've ever played, but I didn't have any problems with it either. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8.8 on overall playability. When it comes to overall sound, here's my one suggestion to you. If you like the slim 60s neck, check out the Les Paul Standard 60s with those 61 Burstbuckers, because the 61 Burstbuckers typically come with the Les Paul Standard 60s, aka thin neck. And those are my favorite Burstbuckers. This has the Burstbucker 3 in bridge and 2 in neck. I'll tell you that I like the 61 Burstbuckers more, and here's the thing. You could get, for example, a plain top Les Paul Standard 60s for $25.99 or even less right now. And this is at $29.99, so it's more expensive than a regular Les Paul Standard. It has Burstbucker 2s and 3s. It has the slimmer 60s neck, but I think it gets out-competed by the sound of the Burstbucker 61s. If you prefer the Burstbucker 2 and 3, great, that's what comes here, but it's not gonna be my favorite Burstbucker in terms of the tone. I'm gonna go ahead and give this an 8.5 on overall sound. And then when it comes to value, so a Les Paul Standard 50s or 60s is basically $27.99. There are iterations that cost more or less, and you can watch my Les Paul video where I explain and break down all of that. You can check that out. But needless to say, this is basically $200 more than the Les Paul Standard 60s. And what are you really getting for that? You're getting Burstbucker 3 and 2 instead of Burstbucker 61s, and you're getting the cosmetic appointments of having this armrest screwed into the body. If I'm back up to playability for a second, this, I didn't even notice that it was there. It never got in my way. I never noticed that it was there. I didn't even honestly really feel it while I was playing. If you had told me, if you had blindfolded me and just given me this guitar and I didn't feel around on it, I probably wouldn't have noticed. So the question is, how much is the Mary Ford story playing into this guitar? I'd argue, you know, apart from this, really not much. So I think on the value side, it's going to rank a little lower because it's more expensive and you're not getting as much. For example, a $3,000 Les Paul Standard 60s might be $3,000 because it has a AAA maple flame top. This obviously with the solid color, you could compare to something like the plain top series at $25.99 or less. So I'm just telling you, there are better values out there. You would buy this guitar because you have to have a gold top with a slim neck and you like the cosmetic appointments. Just remember, you can't really undo it. You're gonna have those screw holes. Overall value, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one an 8.0 on overall value. Comes with a hard shell case, of course. Before I tell you the final score, I'll remind you, if you're in the market for any gear, you can click to buy that new gear using our link and also sign up. We are giving away that Les Paul Standard when we hit 100,000 subscribers. Sign up via Gleam, hit subscribe if you haven't, and check out my new music. All that's down below as well. All right, final score for the Mary Ford Les Paul Standard of
8.4.
8.4. It's a little bit more expensive for what it is. There are other options out there from Gibson, but nothing about this guitar necessarily got in my way or caused me to dislike it. It's just that I don't think I loved it. Tell me what you thought in the comments. It's certainly, I'll tell you what I love though, the looks are to kill for. It looks gorgeous. Love that gold top, and I love that armrest. It actually looks really cool. All right, for Plain Trade Guitars, I'm John. That's Zach behind the camera. See you next time. Check out the rest of our Gibson Les Paul videos and all the rest across our channel. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.